Yes, then we're live. So it's 1 o'clock and I'm back again. So every day for this week and next week, I'm going to be interviewing one of our amazing speakers that we've got coming up for the online summit that starts on Monday, the 11th of May. It's called Take on the World, Ladies. Look good and feel amazing, even in lockdown, because I think if you're anything like me, starting to feel it, right? So, without further ado, explain to everybody who you are and what do you do, Jacqui?
Right. Hi, Karen. Hello, everybody. Thank you, first of all, Karen, for having me on and including me in this summit, because it's my purpose to help and touch as many people's lives as I possibly can. I'm a teacher. I'm an educational strategist. And what that means is that I can teach most subjects. I don't teach personally sciences or languages because I have too much of a South London accent to make it authentic.
Brilliant. Oh, I love it. Nothing wrong
Right.
with that.
What we like to focus on are the concerns that parents have about their progress, the progress of their kids in the modern day classroom, because people often don't realize how much young people take on board in their lifetime. We don't know what happens on the bus. There's lots of challenges on the street. There's things that happen that they can't talk about, that, things that stand in the way of them learning effectively, which then comes out as a negative progress mark in the classroom. And when that happens, we have a real negative downward spiral in which people are saying, why is this happening? The young person can't explain themselves because they don't know the words, or they don't want to cause a problem or something like that. And it takes them downwards in their learning, which ultimately affects their life.
Cool.
We work with those kids who are out of school or disengaged from school for various reasons, to rebuild their confidence in themselves, rebuild their character, help them to learn in the way that fits them. So we meet them where they are. It's not all about academics. Sometimes it's about having the courage to pursue a skill. But we meet them where they are with the goal of creating better citizens for our world.
Brilliant. Amazing. Because yes, like you just said, there is so much more to it than what just goes on in the classroom, right? They've got to get to school, they've got after school, where are they, who are they mixing in? So much that is affecting them, right? Not at the moment, obviously, we're in lockdown,
but what has come to the fore in all of this is that, as studies have shown, the old system is one of 3 R's. Retain.
Sorry, that's me.
Retain, repeat, regurgitate. Retain the knowledge that you're getting in the classroom and the advice. Retain it, so hold it inwards. Repeat it so many times that you can't forget it, and then regurgitate it in an exam.
Yeah.
And after you've regurgitated it in the exam, no one's checking to see if you can still do it.
Yeah.
Because as long as you do it at a good enough level, then everyone's happy. That makes no sense to most young people. They're like, what is the purpose of that?
Absolutely. We're still doing things as we did probably hundreds of years ago, right?
Absolutely.
And especially in this day and age, I say to my girls, you don't know how lucky you are. You've got information at your fingertips. We would have had to go to a library, find the book, find the information. What is the point of just, like you say, retaining that information just to do an exam when you could actually click a button, go and find that information? There's got to be another way. There's got to be another way to help kids moving forward, right?
But I tell you what, the lockdown has shown. It's shown to a large extent how the education system as it stands, without a service like mine, has actually failed a number of older people, more mature people, because when they get laid off, they're like, what do I do now?
Totally.
Because they didn't have the system that built them courage, built them communication skills, built them character skills, confidence skills. So they've been doing the same thing for so long, they don't know what comes next.
True. Absolutely.
So we want to help young people to build a future-proof life, so they're confident enough, and we build that in them, that it's not just about the exams. The exams are like the cherry on the cake, right? But they make that cake in a way.
Yes, and they could make another one if they wanted to.
Exactly. Whatever happens, they'll roll with it, and that is what we'd like to ultimately see, that big change in the way the education system delivers.
Brilliant. I mean, I do understand that it takes time to change the whole math. I get that. But I think you're right. I think people do realise, especially for those, and I just have to say, wow, I take my hat off to every parent out there who, on top of everything that's going on, has found themselves having to put another hat on and homeschool their young children. I applaud you. I was literally just saying to Jacqui earlier, just before we came on live, that I actually admit I don't think I'd be coping. Thank goodness my girls are older. Because wouldn't you agree, Jacqui, that there's probably loads of people out there that are struggling with this homeschooling lark?
Right.
It's not normally the hat that they wear.
I would say it's a rather ridiculous notion to expect parents, with all that they do, to then wear two hats, unless they're a parent like me who's also a teacher, in which we do every day. Right? However, when you think about it in the terms of what I've just said about the other things that are going on in kids' lives, okay, as a parent, your best thing that you can do for your own sanity and for that of your kids is not to try to be a teacher. Okay? Don't stress yourself with trying to achieve the same things that teachers achieve. I was going to say stress yourself with something else. Don't stress.
No, it's not good. And I'm sure they're under too much stress at the moment.
Spend the time actually having that open conversation. Okay? Showing them that actually you did go to school, because some of them don't actually realise that. They think we were born as old as we are. So you do appreciate the challenges that they have. Take an interest in what they're doing. Show them that, you're not just sending them to school every day for no reason. You're actually interested in what they're doing. If there's something you can't do, leave it. Okay? Until you can get some more guidance on it. If it's one of those systems in which you can contact the teacher. They'll only be too pleased to. As teachers, we love being asked questions because it gives us, that's our purpose, that's our vocation. Okay? You don't stress.
Right.
Your job.
How long have you been a teacher, Jacqui?
15 years.
Wow. And what age groups what sort of ages did you teach?
7 to 19.
Right, okay.
I know you get.
Well, I'm not one out of that category, but I had two I couldn't imagine a room full of 30, I have to say. I totally applaud you for what you do.
Kids are so much fun. I learn often from them by watching them learn and the questions that they ask, because they are quite deep in the things that they think about.
Right.
And they often throw one off the bat that you're like, oh.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people out there that are going to look forward to your talk at the summit. Let's see if we've got you. Hello, Melissa, Michaela. Is it Michaela? I need glasses, guys. I'm really. That doesn't really help, does it? So, share with everybody what is your talk going to be on the summit?
Right. What my talk is about is my journey and how that problem with communication with my parents and with having courage, having confidence became a real issue for me. And I didn't see the point of education for a long time because I was actually sexually abused by my blood father for 9 years.
Wow.
And that was perpetrated by threats against my mother. And I'd seen him be violent towards my mother. So I couldn't really test the theory, by telling anyone, just in case he did what he said he was going to do. And on top of that, he would say, if you say anything, it spoils the whole family because your brothers and sisters will be taken into care. So my point to you guys is not necessarily what I went through, because it took me many, many years. It's only recently that I've had real movement in my recovery from it. But over the years at school, I went really into myself. I truanted most of year 9 because I was being bullied at school on top of having been abused at home. So I want you to.
Why now you can help others that may have maybe coming from different kinds of circumstances or situations.
Absolutely. It's what I'd like people to appreciate is all these things can happen to a young person and they're just not talking at the moment for obvious reasons. They don't know how. Okay. I was very lucky in the way that I was discovered, and the way the turnaround date for me, but that is on my talk. So I'm not going to,
Yeah, no, don't give everything away. So but for you now, so you're really, what would you call yourself? An education strategist? Is that what you'd call yourself as?
I am an educational strategist because I do more than teach. What I do is really look at the holistic picture, look at the whole child, look at what they want to do. It's a partnership between myself, my tutors, the parent, and the child. The child's engagement to the process is so important. It's not just a case of them being sent to us. If they're not ready to come to us, then we don't take them on.
Right, it's got to be there. Well, yes, if they're an unwilling party,
absolutely. It's not. It's not school where you have to go. No. If you're not ready to come to us, then we can't take you at this time. It's a really important process because it's a process which is designed at transformation, changing the student, the young person, into someone who knows what they want, engages with the process, actively seeks out opportunities, to make them to build their lives.
Excellent. It must be very rewarding seeing the outcomes.
I absolutely love it. I live it every day. I've got quite a full diary myself, and I've got new tutors starting all the time. I love the process. Every single child that comes to us has had a positive outcome. Mother's Day every day, I get bombarded with all these messages that my kids are like, where are your children? I say, yeah, they're all my children.
That's
because
amazing. And that really is one. I said it earlier with the last lady, Susan, that does seem to, out of all the amazing speakers, all the women have, again, they've gone into what they do because it really is an absolute passion of theirs. And you can see it. Well, we can see it with you anyway, Jacqui. It just shines through that you are doing what your purpose. You're doing your purpose, right? And you're sharing with people, and you have and it just comes from the heart. And I think that's just amazing thing for people to be doing, actually following what they should be doing, what they love doing, right?
And that is key to our students, that very point there, that they don't start life just doing. They actually start life doing what they love.
Perfect. And yeah, if everybody, imagine a world where everybody was doing that. Right.
Sometimes it just needs guidance, it means guiding the parents so that they know which way they can actively turn in the school system, if that's where they want to stay, or if there's ways they can turn outside the school system. But we are there to, sort of stand behind you, beside you, wherever you need to be, wherever you need us to stand.
And have you found that more recently, probably even as recent as this awful corona thing that's going on, have you found that parents are switching? Because we've sort of almost not been, I don't want to use the word brainwash, but that's what you do. The children go to school and they learn that this, do this, and these are the stepping stones. Whereas now maybe they're starting to change the way they view things and realise that maybe there's another way.
Karen, one thing the pandemic has shown us is that the way that we've been assimilated to do things is not necessarily the only way to do things, So, yes, we're not saying you don't have to be educated.
No.
We're saying there's other ways of educating, and we'd be hard pushed. Can you imagine for those kids who were disengaged in the classroom but went to school anyway for 6 hours a day, sat in the corner of the playground by themselves, longing for home time, but for the last 7 weeks, is it 6-7 weeks, they've been sitting at home working at their pace, getting things done. How do we then say?
I totally understand that. Even on a personal level, we lived in the Algarve for 8 years, so my daughters were in the Portuguese system, and very academic, as in everything was just out of a book. It was just textbooks. So they didn't even have science labs or anything. There was nothing creative. There was no art or anything. And my daughter's a creative soul. And so hearing it even in a foreign language, she would just switch off in class because she wasn't that wasn't her way of learning things. So it was just and that's one of the main reasons why we actually came back to the UK. Because I was really struggling, whereas coming back to more sort of creative subjects that she actually enjoyed, and then she started doing a lot better. Well, I totally understand it.
I'd also like to add that in order to actually live a life, those soft skills are very, very important. Even I'm going to take the university route, even though more and more people are saying I'm not going. But one of the key points in sixth form study and university study is independent learning. Okay? When you're sat in a classroom and somebody's telling you what to think and telling you the examiner is looking for you to write this. So here's what you write, repeat it. You're then being taken from that and expected to engage with it to the next stage of your life when people are saying, this is what you need to learn, off you go now.
Right.
Where's the research skills?
Yeah, they're not setting them up for it, are they?
That is the thing. No one's listening to the young people as to what they actually need to be able to cobble their life together. All the system does is it says, this is what you must learn. This is when you must prove it. This is what, do you see?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
you're doing a fantastic service. So For those of you, if you haven't got a ticket, I think the link should be up there somewhere. Take a look. There'll be information more about Jacqui. You'll be able to email her from there, all her details for all the social media platforms that she's on. And if you haven't actually got your ticket, you will need a ticket through Eventbrite. It is free to register. And thank you so much, Jacqui. I think you're going to be doing so many of these stressed out parents who are homeschooling. And we'll see you on the summit. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.